thanks for coming. This is a really fun one. We did this on Tuesday as well, and I learned so much. It's just a really fun way to personalize your classroom, personalize obviously email signatures and things like that, but really there's so much more that you can do with Bitmoji and actually use it in your classroom. So I'm excited to have Tracy Crowley, Jody Greenspan, and Erica Scheidel here from the middle school. They're all coaches there, and they're gonna just show us some really cool things. So as usual, this is pretty informal. So if you have a question or comment, just unmute yourself, or you can also drop comments and questions in the chat. So without further ado, thanks you guys for being here, and we'll take it away.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. And kind of the first deal with Bitmoji is you need to make your Bitmoji on a phone is kind of the first step. And it's just downloading the app to your phone, creating your own Bitmoji. Because what you're gonna do is then once you have your Bitmoji created, you're going to install this Chrome app here. And that is my Bitmoji Chrome app. And because I made it on my phone and I linked this app into Chrome, then I can see my stickers. And kind of the biggest tip for all the little Bitmojis we'll be showing you is to type in the word pose, because this is more of what you're going to be using to see, you might use the stickers a little bit if you're, kind of commenting on kids' work or saying good job or like this. But when you're first setting up that classroom that we're going to start with, if you type in pose, these are probably the things you're going to be pulling from the most, just to, either, and if you type in sit, it could have you sitting on the couch, things like that. So when you see these Bitmojis with people looking kind of normal-ish, probably don't want to use this one with kids too much. But so you're going to type in pose. But let's take you to our slide deck, and we will post this for you. This is a room that I made. This is a very simple room. The kind of point forward that I was thinking for Bitmoji is thinking a little bit more about our virtual learners and kids who are having trouble finding stuff in the classroom environment. I know a lot of teachers were dealing with kids saying they couldn't find something or this was difficult. So thinking about using this resource, I thought of just having, starting simple and having a consistent looking classroom style that the students are used to using. So I just kind of put up something kind of easy, your basic whiteboard that has your objectives, just making this look like it would in your own classroom a little bit. I kind of demoed this for you. These are the resources we'll be using today. So everyone kind of said, well, where do I get this? Where do I get that? It's all right here in the resources. So these are the kind of things you're going to be teaching your own students. If there's a resource I put out there, it's going to be on the bookshelf. If we're doing something today, what are we doing? Maybe you'd have an agenda up here, just depending on how you usually run your classroom. And don't panic. This is easier than it looks. We're grabbing a lot of stuff off the internet, off of Google searches, and we're just kind of cutting and pasting a lot of. One thing I kind of did is kind of a newbie thing is I made a blank slide and I just kept playing with my Bitmoji until it looked the way I wanted. So I just had my little Bitmoji on a blank slide. I used a white t-shirt because I wanted my Cooper Cobra logo. And they told me that having a white shirt or a black shirt will help a school logo pop out better and you'll get a better look at it. So that was just something fun that I took the time to do, but I totally did it on another slide. And they suggest putting this as a JPEG once you get the room the way you want it. So you'd want to start with a basic room without your resources. And we're going to show you how to do that in a moment. We're going to do it step by step. So we're going to build a room, and then we'd show you when you download it as a JPEG and how you would want to go through that. So are there any questions before I move further into the slides? No? Okay. So now I'm going to move into a slide that Tracy made. And then Tracy, I don't know if you want to talk through it a little bit and I can just click on
Sure.
the links. Okay.
Yes, I started from scratch. I had no idea how to do this, and I didn't think I was even that interested in it, but I wanted to get something ready for today, and I'm totally addicted. I think Erica mentioned how much fun this actually is, and watch out with your time because you're going to want to keep doing more and more. So on here, and Erica's going to walk you through all how to build this, but I just started with the basic floor and background, added some elements, and then she'll show you how to move things in back or front. It's really easy. Added a window. This is just an image of a poster, but you can also get a poster from Teachers Pay Teachers. That would be a poster that may actually be hanging out in your classroom. So if you want to make it look like your classroom, you can certainly do that as well. But this is just Google Images. It already had a frame. So I did that. Then I just created with a text box, and Erica, I'm sure will walk through this. And then I added a thicker frame to it over here. So, oh no, that's Erica's screen I'm looking at. So if you want to click Erica on, I just did a link here. If you want to click on this, okay. You click on that. It should go right to a Google Doc, whether it does or not right now, because I don't have my screen showing. Oh, there she goes. This will just take you to a regular Google Doc that the kids can know to go there every morning and click on, and then there's their warm-up question for the day. And then what I did on this whiteboard looking thing, along with my London Lightning, which now I'm realizing I should have put on my dress to match Cooper's white t-shirt. I can make that modification super easily, which is nice, is I took a screenshot of a YouTube video. This is a London students talking about, and some Whitney Young students talking about Chicago home stories. But I left the things on the bottom so the kids know it's a YouTube video. So I intentionally left in what they would see on YouTube. And then it would go right to any video. So whether it's a video you're creating of yourself with morning announcements or with some instruction, reading a story, whatever it is you're doing, you can link right to as if this is projected onto a whiteboard. And then that's pretty much it for my room.
Okay. So in here are just some of the tips that I kind of talked about already. And the only other thing is when you get a little more advanced, Lunapick is a free photo editor that you can use. So for example, my Cooper logo, I wanted to make it transparent and I didn't have a transparent background. So Lunapick, and it's pretty easy. It's one of the easier ones. That's why I chose it. You just upload your photo, and then once you have your photo uploaded, you can adjust it and do different things. So edit, you're probably looking to just make something a transparent background. So that's your last choice under edit. But if you needed to crop it or do different things with it that you're not too sure how to do in Google Draw, this is where you can go and do the transparent background. A lot of things you can just adjust in Google Draw. Right now, Lunapick is kind of the place to go to for your transparent background. The other thing it kind of does is this adjust might help you change things. If you want to blur it a little bit or make it like a square can become a carpet on your floor, just depending on how you adjust it. But I wouldn't get too worried about Lunapick. This is kind of like a step 2. And what we're going to kind of go through right now is just how you would kind of start it from scratch. And so we will start with that. Your first thing.
Really quick, just one thing. Can you go back to the slide before real quick? I just wanted to, with the Google Chrome extension, I've had a couple teachers mention that they've had a hard time getting the same emoji, BitMoji, from their phone to their computer. And so, for example, on this extension, if you made your Bitmoji and you logged in with Yahoo or with your Snapchat account or whatever it is, you have to log in with that same one here. Not even though normally we log in with our district account, for this you're going to log in with whatever you made your Bitmoji with. So I know a couple people have had problems, but it worked for pretty much everybody I know. And then if you change your Bitmoji, your outfit or your whatever it is on your phone, it'll automatically change in here too. So it's definitely a game changer. It makes it really easy to add the Bitmojis. Sorry, somebody had just asked a question about that. So
Yeah, and I saw some people had some problem where we told people just to log out completely and start fresh. Like even start on your phone. You might have to log out of this one and get them synced up. So yeah, so right now, as you can see, I'm logged in as me on my district account, but my Bitmoji account is my personal one because I just use my personal email to set up my Bitmoji. But they work together. And also I could use these Bitmojis in my district email if I wished. They'll paste there too. Okay. So the first thing you're kind of going to want to look for is you're going to need to make your background image. And you can do a search, and we're looking for, let me see, hold on.
insert image.
Yeah, but I want to do the background, right?
Oh,
The web.
So
that's
Oh, no,
file
file.
no, it's just right here.
and then change.
You can also
Slide.
hit
It's
the
a
button.
page setup.
Oh, okay. I don't remember how you're going to page setup and you're changing your background. Okay.
Maybe not.
No.
Okay, this is going well.
I'm sorry.
Like
It's
right
like
there
I
on
do.
background.
No, this is under slide. Change background.
Okay.
Okay. If I went too fast, I'll go back. I went to slide and I went to change background. And I'm going to choose an image. And I'm going to do a Google image search. Okay, so this is where I'm going to look for a floor and a wall. Okay. So you'll even see some of these look familiar. We're just going to pick a basic one. Picking one with sides gives you a little extra challenge, which you might be up for in maybe stage 2, because you're going to have to look, worry a little bit more about the dimensions of what you're putting in there more. So to keep it real simple is just to take a basic floor and a wall. So why don't let's grab this one. Okay, so that's what I'm working with. And now I want to start inserting images, but I want to make sure they're transparent images. So I'm going to search the web, and I'm going to put transparent couch. Let's see. And so this is where you're deciding if you want to make it look a little more cartoony, if you want to make a little, which way you want to have it facing. It's going to come in way too big, usually. And you're just going to start playing with this. So this is kind of just a big playing around with it. Some of you might remember playing with a draw program that you're going to have to think about how you're arranging the furniture with moving to back, moving to front. So we're going to put in some plants now. And just remember, keep that word transparent, because that's going to make it a lot easier. Then you don't even have to worry about changing the images around. Maybe we'll do a house plant. Let's see. So if I wanted
And the nice thing about that background is it has a shadow on it, so it gives it a little bit of depth too. This is the kind of thing that I was telling the other group you would never have time to do. It's nice that this is right before summer because you can play with it a little bit. I mean, you really can get absorbed and spend a long time on making these, but once you've made one, then you can use it over and over again.
Okay. So here's an example of, that doesn't look so great right there. But if I arrange it and I tell it to send it back, now it's more behind my couch. So these are kind of, old-fashioned tricks of just using draw and thinking about your layers. So all we did, that was a layering trick. And then we might want to put in a whiteboard. The whiteboard that I found for mine, I just put in, again, inserted a transparent whiteboard. And let's see. Maybe I'll pick a darker one because that goes with my couch a little better. Just certain things to, you just try it. You see what you like, you see what you don't like. You just kind of give it a try. Okay. If I wanted to make my own, like what Tracy showed with the projector screen, probably the easiest way to do something like that is to actually add a box. So don't forget about the drawing tools that live in Google Slides. And I think that's something I plan to do a little more this summer, is play around a lot more with Google Draw, because I think I've gotten a little rusty over the years. And so just remembering that you can start adding shapes in here. You can grab a rectangle and you can make it, pretty much the width you need it to be. You could change the color on here. It doesn't have to be white. And then once you have it in, you can change up and you can put the darker border on here. I think my border is, that gives me lines. Okay. Here. So if I'm giving it more of a dark gray border, things like that. And I can bump up the size of the border and make it just look a little bit different.
And Erica, can you right click on that whiteboard real quick? And the other thing you can do on that is there's formatting options. So if you go down to formatting options, the one that I found the most helpful is the drop shadow, because if you put a drop shadow on something, it makes it look, for example, you're on the board, but maybe the plant or something, if you put a shadow behind it, it makes it look a little bit more 3D. Obviously, we're not in art class, so you don't want to spend forever on it, but if you play with those type of things too, and you can actually do some stuff with the transparency and things right within. It won't take off a background, but it'll make things lighter or darker too.
And then the way to write on this whiteboard is, fairly easy. You're just adding a text box like you would in a doc. So there you have your text box. And you can choose what your text looks like. So, just don't get too worried about overthinking it or, playing around with something. And then to get my person in here, like we said, we go back to my Bitmoji. And maybe in this one, I want to be sitting. And I can either pull myself right in there, or I could copy and paste. And then kind of scale myself down. And you notice I don't have my Cooper shirt on anymore, because that was a layer that I put on top of my Bitmoji in the other slide. So like that Cooper thing isn't going to live in the Bitmoji land. Looks like I'm falling off the couch there. There we go. So you just kind of keep nudging yourself around until it looks the way you want it to look. Things like that, just to make it a little more visual appealing so they know what they're going to be looking for. What's also kind of fun is there's a lot of different bookcases you could choose from. So if we go back to our image and we are looking for a bookcase, or you can even do bookshelves, and put those in. And I'll just grab this for. Okay. So let's say this was it. This is how you wanted it to be, you know, rather simple. And this is what you want to build on for every, you know, for a couple lessons. So you're not starting from scratch the entire time. So then you would go to File, and you would want to download this as a JPEG. So this would be the JPEG that then you would make as your background going forward. So you wouldn't have to keep going through all those steps again. You could have this one static, and maybe you would make a couple different ones as JPEGs to kind of rotate through the week, just to, you know, give them a little consistency, but also maybe have some changes to it. I think it's like anything else. What I'm starting to kind of see in the Bitmoji Facebook group is a lot of overkill, and there's some where you're not even really sure where to click. So I think, especially for some of our younger users, it's going to be more helpful to you if you start it a little bit more simply, and so they know exactly what they should be clicking on. And then we'll talk about when you share this with students, you want to make sure it's either in a view only or you put in some code that makes this as a presentation, because you're not going to want them to edit it. So that's important to think about as you're deciding how to upload it. So you'll find there's like a couple different ways to upload this into your drive, but just, you know, always make sure you're viewing only. Okay. So are there any questions on what I just did? Because that was really like kind of for our newbies, basic. All right. So I'm going to hand this over to Jody, and she's going to kind of show you some things that you can really do that are a little more out there. And don't get discouraged if you're a little lost, because the first time Jody showed me, I was kind of like head spinning, but that's okay. And you can look back at the tape. So here, Jody, I will stop presenting, and she's going to show the advanced features.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. I'm also, I think, going to change my username to head spinning, because why not? Oops, hold on, I can't, I'm trying to share my screen. All right, are you sure? Am I sharing my screen? Yes. Yes? Okay. Can you see my, somebody answer, can you see my screen? Yes, okay. All right, so the first thing actually that I wanted to show you on the SLAM was, like Erica was talking about, from when you make it for the kids, how everything is pretty much a hyperlink. I just want to really quickly review the resources that we have on here. So the first one, I know I'm seeing in here, there's people in this room who are already in it. If you're on Facebook, this Bitmoji craze for educators started about a month ago. And when I was first writing this up for an email, I was going to say there were 65,000 people in it. But then when I looked at it again, it now has over 100,000 people in it. So that's why Erica was saying it might get a little bit overwhelming. But there's a lot. I say almost everything that I've learned from that. Those same people who started the Facebook page, they started a YouTube channel. They started a YouTube channel that has a lot of how-to videos. That said, honestly, if you Google how to add a drop shadow or whatever, you're going to find so many people who are sharing their resources. Right here, this is what Erica was talking about with backgrounds. She put together or found a collection of backgrounds that have already been out there. So if you want to start with something, this has, I think 8 or 10 different resources in there. And then this is a Bitmoji museum, also has lots of resources. These are, this person made a bunch of Bitmojis. So if you, okay, that's a good question. I'll show you in just a second. So this person went and made all of these Bitmojis in different poses. So it's just showing you the different poses that you can search for to get these. And then where am I? I have too many things open. And then down here, this woman also has a bunch of Bitmoji items that she's put together, and she's very protective. I think people keep messing, because you can also add to it, and I think people keep messing with it, so she just doesn't want you to ruin her slideshow. So those are just some resources. Somebody just asked how you hyperlink things, and it's actually really easy. All you have to do, I mean, I can even make her a hyperlink. If I click on her, once she's got a square around her, all you're going to do is you can either go to the link thing right here, or you just do insert link, and then you link to wherever you want to go. So in some of the examples you'll see, people have virtual reading rooms, and all of these are different books that the kids could read virtually. Or you can have, like in Tracy's, where she had YouTube videos. So this here's a YouTube video. So if you clicked on it, it goes to there. So really, that's the beauty of if you're not hyperlinking in a Bitmoji classroom, you're kind of missing the whole point of it, because it's just a visual way to share resources. And what Erica could do with this is she could use the same template every week, and just change the resources or whatever. I know Amy, I think Amy's in here, she changes her assignments and puts her objectives, and then these are the links over here. So that's kind of the basics of it. The reason, as always, Tech Slams aren't going to show you everything that you're doing, but it'll give you a general idea and the resources to go farther. So speaking of going farther, these are things that are kind of step 2. If this is your first time playing with Bitmojis, I don't think you're going to get to them right now, but they're going to be sitting here so you can get to them later. This first one is an animated Bitmoji, and it was really actually very easy to make. And when I first saw the animated Bitmojis, I thought, why would you ever use an animated Bitmoji? And the example I saw was the teacher put their animated Bitmoji pointing to the Google Classroom where it says to turn in or submit or whatever, just reminding the kids to press the word submit on their classroom. So that would be an example. Now, this is a YouTube video, and I'm not going to have you watch a whole YouTube video on this, but I'll show you the important parts with it. I'm actually going to mute him. So right here, he shows you have to have Snapchat, first of all, which the only reason I have Snapchat is to search for to watch my kids. But once you're in Snapchat, you can search for a filter or a lens, and if you search for a Bitmoji, you'll find this is a dancing guy, mine was a pointing guy, and then you point it to something white or something with one piece, one color, and then you go to this website that's called Unscreen, which is another one similar to what Erica showed. It's called Unscreen, and it'll take out the background. And then once you do that, you just save it as a GIF, and you can download it to your phone and then just share it with yourself. So there's a whole bunch of cute little Bitmojis that you can put. You can see right here, he had him on his shoulder, and you can move them all around. So that is an animated Bitmoji. This one is how you can make a Bitmoji sticker. So you can make it in Google Draw, and then you just save a folder of stickers. I think that this example was shown more for before we had the add-in, because you can do a lot of the same things with the add-in. This one here talks about how you make a Bitmoji banner. So that's what I did right here. You just need to change the setup so that it has these dimensions, and in the hyperlink it'll go through this step by step. So this is a Bitmoji banner, and I could write Mrs. Greenspan's tech resources or whatever I wanted to put here. So that's kind of step 1. But you can also have an animated, and the directions for this are in the hyperlink too. An animated, would go into Google Classroom, so you can have an animated Google Classroom banner. So you can see each one of these slides is a little bit different, right? So you can see when I make her move fast, you can kind of see what's going to happen. All you have to do to make it animated is get this, and this is linked in the document. but this is an add-in called Creator Studio. And then you choose, it's going to open, and then you choose the animation speed you want. So you can decide the output width. The directions tell you what output width. And then you also want to put that the interval is 0.5 seconds. If you export it as a GIF right here and press go, then it's going to give you a GIF of this, and you can have an animated, these are just kind of fun things, and you can have an animated banner in your Google Classroom. But even if you didn't have an animated banner, just having the banner is kind of fun. So that is how you would do the I have too many things open. That's how you do the animated ones. And then last but not least, this is Erica was talking about sharing this in a way that kids can't touch it or mess with it. This video shows how you could actually make a whole website and embed your emojis, Bitmojis in them. So you're basically just uploading like your slides into the site, and then it just like lives in there. So those are just, and again, I'm not going to show you every step of how you make it, but all the resources are in this. And then finally, these are just some fun things you can try. This is a Where's Waldo, and right here you can see that Chrissy Mantel at Holmes made a Where's Mrs. Mantel, and it's just kind of a fun activity. She put herself in different locations. Now, the thing about this is you have to have a whole lot of different Bitmojis. So what we did at Holmes, and not everybody did it, but some people did, is we're all sharing our Bitmojis. So now we have all these different, that's me right there. And so now we have all these different Bitmojis and all the different, we just add a few, but it's enough that we can add them in. If you have Bitmoji, if you have the Bitmoji app, or it might be Snapchat, one of the two, you can do Friendmoji, so you can share your friends' Bitmojis too. And then this was our Holmes. This was our staff picture. So we had the kids. We share this every week, and so then I numbered all of the Bitmojis, and the kids had a week to kind of guess who they were, and then the next week we put the answers up so they could find out who they were. This is an I Spy, which is similar to Where's Waldo. This teacher actually made a breakout room all done with Bitmojis. And then this was a field trip. So if you look on these slides, you can see that all of these things, this was about space, and the teacher, whoever it was, put arrows to things that kids can interact with. So all of these are hyperlinks, and she's telling them where to click, which is a good idea. Although, if you have older kids, you can maybe let them play. This is actually an audio, so she can have it speaking, and she has a few different slides for that. And this is not, I didn't make this. This is just a something I found in that Facebook group. And that is all the kind of basic information. So somebody was asking about the Chrome app. That is linked in your resources up here. So if you click on this Bitmoji Chrome extension, it'll bring you to the Chrome store, and you just add the app on, just like or the extension on, just like you would do with anything else. So when I click on this, and it's probably going to tell me it's already installed. So right here, instead of saying remove from Chrome, it would say add to Chrome. So that was a lot of information, but everything will still be there for you in the slides. Are there questions that you have? We can stick around, or I don't know if Alicia, if you want to put the form back in.
So I noticed there was some question that want, and yes, you could also download this as a PDF, and the links will work. So it's all just deciding what you think students will look like. In the banner, I'm not positive. I haven't tried the links in the banner.
I'm gonna guess they won't work in the banner.
Yeah.
Because I think it turns it into, I don't know if, I think you have to turn it into a JPEG before you, and that's in the directions.
Mhm.
But that's one thing we didn't show you is all of these you can turn into JPEGs. Any slide really can. And if I click here and I do download as, I can download it as a JPEG. And then that was Eric was talking about not letting the kids mess with the slides. Once you've turned it into a JPEG, it's kind of all glued together and they can't move things around. Even if you share the slideshow as view only, they shouldn't be able to move things around.
And Laura, that's a good question about the Spiritwear logos. I don't know because, yeah, I have a feeling that wouldn't work, that you can only usually use the clothes that you're actually wearing in Bitmoji. And so that was almost like something I put on top of my shirt.
Yeah. Now, Jenny, the thing about the logging out of your email, I can't do it right now because I already have it. Maybe Jackie shared just did it again. So Jackie, do you want to say what you did to get it to work?
Yeah, all I did was, I had it on my phone, but possibly because I don't update my phone as often as I should, or it's a really older phone, I just deleted the app and reinstalled it.
But on the extension, did you logged in with the email that you had on your Bitmoji account?
Yeah, I had no one on my phone, like you guys had
Yeah.
said earlier.
So even though it's on your school account for this app, you would log in with or for this extension, you would log in with your Bitmoji, whatever you did for your Bitmoji or your Snapchat or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So if anybody wants to put a question on the side chat, or if you want to put, just turn off your mic and ask. Otherwise, I think Alicia's she put the form already. So we'll stick here and stick around for questions. Otherwise, and people emailed us on Tuesday too after the other one. You can always email us and ask questions then too.
Thanks for coming, everybody. And this will be posted a little bit later on our YouTube channel.
Thank you, ladies.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome.
One more question, girls. If you save it as a JPEG and share it, will the links work as well? Or would you need to save it as a view-only slides presentation to work the links?
So for the JPEG, I would only do that for your background or for something that's not going to have links. The links don't work. Now, you can have a JPEG on, like, for example, the picture of the Facebook little icon. That's a JPEG. So the JPEG, you can link from the JPEG, but if you've made the whole scene a JPEG, then the links don't work.
Right. Okay.
Jody, you know how
Mhm.
you put the link on the side and I clicked and now I'm looking at that slideshow that you guys shared? Is
Mhm.
that now in my drive? Or
You
how
have
do
to put
you,
it,
or do you
it'll
guys have to share it with us?
it'll show up. It's kind of like it'll show up in your drive, but it's really in my drive. Once
Okay,
you've
because
seen
that's the problem I have. Like, if I don't use it right now and then my tabs get closed, I don't know how to find that slideshow again to then
Yeah.
go in and play with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, what you can do is can you still see my screen or no?
Yeah, I can still see it.
Okay, so right here, see that little add shortcut to drive?
Yeah.
If you want to be 100% sure, you can do that. It's not really adding it to your drive, it's just kind of listing it in your drive.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Have a good day.
Mm-hmm.
And then what we did do is on the Tech Slam page, we tried to add our slideshows right underneath the slam because we realized people were having trouble finding our slideshows sometimes after we had finished. So it's all there.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, everyone.
All right.
You're welcome.
Okay.
All right, that was it, right?
Yep, that was
Yeah.
it. Now we go, now we go out for drinks.
Yes, right. All right. Oh, let me stop recording.